Two former presidents walked into the same room tonight, and things got ugly fast. Donald Trump, the man who never backs down, and Barack Obama, the king of cool under pressure. What started as a leadership debate turned into the most brutal, jaw-dropping public showdown in modern TV history. Trump came out throwing punches right away, mocking Obama as all talk and zero action. But then, in one single devastating moment, Obama dropped the act. He looked Trump dead in the eye and exposed a truth so explosive, so raw, that the entire studio gasped. And Trump, for the first time and maybe ever, went completely speechless on live television. The bright studio lights were blazing down on that stage. The air felt thick, almost electric with tension. Hundreds of people had packed every single seat in that New York studio. Nobody came for a polite chat between two old politicians. Everyone knew this was going to be a fight. The moderators kept it short and straight to the point. Tonight, two of the most powerful men in modern American history sit across from each other. No scripts, no safe topics, just leadership, straight up. He nodded toward the chairs. Please welcome President Donald Trump and President Barack Obama. Trump walked out first, chest puffed out, shoulders back, like he already owned the whole room. He flashed that familiar half-smirk at the crowd, gave a quick wave, then dropped into his chair like he was sliding back into the Oval Office. Obama followed seconds later, calm, steady, giving the audience a small nod before sitting down. No big entrance, just quiet, ice-cold confidence. The second the moderator gave him the floor, Trump didn't waste even one breath. Before we go any further, if you're new here, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because trust me, you do not want to miss what happens next. This is the kind of moment people will be talking about for years, and we've got the full breakdown right here. Trump leaned forward, eyes sharp, voice booming with that classic New York edge. Look, leadership isn't about fancy words or clapping at the right moments, he said. It's about results, big results. I built the strongest economy this country has ever seen. Unemployment at record lows, stock market through the roof. We brought back millions of jobs. We took on China and won. We rebuilt our military like nobody's ever done before. That's what real leadership looks like. You do things. You win. You don't sit around talking about hope and change while everything falls apart. He pointed at the audience, his hand chopping the air hard. People don't want speeches. They want action. They want wins. And I delivered huge wins. Everybody knows it. The crowd gave scattered applause and a few murmurs. Some people nodded hard. Others just watched, waiting to see Obama's face. Obama didn't move. He sat completely still for about 10 long, tense seconds, eyes locked on Trump, just letting those words hang in the air like smoke. Then he leaned forward just slightly, his voice calm but sharp, cutting straight through the tension like a knife. Results without trust, Obama said slowly, are like building a skyscraper on sand. It might look tall for a while, but the first real storm comes, and the whole thing crashes down. So tell me, Donald, when your results only help a small slice of the country while everyone else gets left behind, is that really winning, or is it just winning for yourself? The audience went dead silent. A few people shifted in their seats. Nobody was clapping anymore. Trump let out a loud laugh, the kind that sounds more like a challenge than actual amusement. He shook his head, grinning wide, but his eyes had gone hard. "Oh, here we go," Trump said, voice dripping with mockery. The king of beautiful speeches and zero buildings. Barack, you're still doing the exact same thing you always did, talking pretty while the country was getting weaker. I actually got things done. You gave speeches. I built walls. I cut taxes. I made America respected again. You talked about unity and left everybody more divided than ever. That's the difference between us. I deliver. You just talk. He leaned back, arms wide, like he just scored the knockout blow, clearly expecting the crowd to go wild. But the room didn't explode the way he wanted. Instead, the tension cranked up another notch, and people leaned even further forward. Then Trump jumped right back in, voice rising, finger jabbing the air like he was back at a packed rally. Leadership is simple, he said. Win fast or lose forever. That's the rule. You move quick, you make the tough calls, and you get results. I didn't sit around waiting for permission. I cut regulations that were killing jobs. I renegotiated terrible trade deals that were screwing over American workers. I brought manufacturing back, energy independence. The Abraham Accords, the best border security in decades. These are things you can see, things you can measure, not some hope and change fantasy. Real wins for real people. He shot a quick glance at Obama, the corner of his mouth curling. While some people were busy giving speeches about unity, I was out there actually fixing the mess they left behind. Talk is cheap. Action wins. The audience stirred, some clapped, others leaned forward, sensing something big was coming. The energy in that room was shifting fast, like the first crackle before a massive storm. Obama sat quietly for a moment. Then he reached down and picked up a small card from the table. He held it up slightly, his voice steady and low, cutting through the noise like a blade. Interesting you say that, Donald, Obama began, because back in 2016, during your own campaign, you said something very clear. You said, and I quote, "Family comes first, even before the country." Those were your exact words at a town hall in Iowa. Family first, nation second. So help me understand, when does that family first stop being about strength and start becoming an excuse to put personal loyalty above everything else? The words landed hard. The studio went pin drop silent. People in the front rows actually sat up straighter. Trump's face tightened, his usual smirk disappearing for just a split second. Before Obama could continue, Trump exploded. He slammed his hand on the arm of his chair and cut in loud, voice booming across the entire stage. "You're still talking," Trump shouted. "You're still talking while I was building. I was creating jobs, securing the border, making America strong again. And you're out here digging up old quotes? This is exactly why people got tired of the same old Washington talk. I delivered. You lectured." His face was getting redder. The veins in his neck were showing. The audience gasped at the sudden outburst. It was the first time Trump had really raised his voice, and it felt like the whole room jumped. Obama didn't raise his voice, not even a little. He just waited for Trump to finish, then leaned forward, calm as ever. "Action that only serves 1% of the country," Obama asked, his tone even but sharp. "Is that leadership? Or is it just self-serving? You talk about wins, but when those wins leave millions of working families behind, when they widen the gap instead of closing it, what exactly are we winning?" Because real leadership means results that lift everybody up, not just the people already sitting at the top. Trump's jaw clenched. He started to speak, stopped himself, then pointed straight at Obama. "You don't get to lecture me about who I serve," he snapped back. I served the forgotten men and women, the ones your policies ignored. But Obama wasn't done, not even close. He locked eyes with Trump and delivered the next line, slow and deliberate, making sure every single word hit like a hammer. Then answer this question directly, Donald, Obama said. When does winning cross the line go into self-dealing? When the deals, the decisions, the appointments all start circling back to benefit your own circle, at what point does that stop being leadership and start being something else entirely? The studio fell into a heavy silence. Trump stared at him, mouth slightly open for a moment. 5 long seconds ticked by. He shifted in his seat, visibly caught off guard, and the entire audience held its breath. You could feel the tension crackling in that room like static electricity before a lightning strike. Trump finally forced a laugh, but it sounded thinner this time, less sure, less him. That's a ridiculous question, he said, but his voice had lost some of that earlier thunder. Obama just nodded slowly, not smiling, not backing down 1 inch. The moderator stepped in, trying to ease the tension just a little. Let's shift gears for a moment, he said. Both of you have spoken about what drives a leader. How much does family play into that? How does family shape the decisions a president makes in the highest office? Trump jumped on the question like it was a gift. He straightened up, chest out, voice full of pride. Family is everything, Trump said firmly. It's the ultimate strength and the ultimate legacy. When you have a strong family behind you, you fight harder. You protect what matters. Everything I did, the deals, the policies, the tough calls, it was all to build something that lasts for my kids and grandkids. Loyalty to family isn't a weakness. It's what makes a great leader. You stand by your blood. You build for the next generation. That's real character. He nodded to himself, clearly satisfied, like he'd just scored another big point. Obama nodded slowly at first, his expression thoughtful. Family is important, he agreed, voice calm. It shapes who we are and what we value. Most leaders draw real strength from their families. Then his tone shifted, just slightly. He picked up another note card and glanced at it before looking straight at Trump. But let's be honest about what that loyalty can look like under pressure, Obama continued. In 2017, your own daughter, Ivanka, said in a public interview that carrying the Trump name brought tremendous pressure and that it sometimes felt like living under a microscope. She talked about the weight of expectations and the constant scrutiny. So, when family loyalty becomes the shield around every decision, doesn't that create blind spots? When protecting the name matters more than facing hard questions, how do you make sure the country doesn't end up paying the price? The audience murmured. Heads turned. A few people whispered to each other. The room was buzzing. Trump's face changed instantly. That confident smile disappeared, replaced by a tight, hard scowl. Before Obama could say another word, Trump cut in sharply, leaning forward and pointing straight across the table. You want to talk, family? Let's talk about yours, Trump fired back, voice rising fast. During your presidency, you made choices that kept your own family in the spotlight while preaching about transparency. You took vacations while the country was facing real crises. You used your position to boost your own brand and your wife's. Don't lecture me about family pressure when your own family was living large on the taxpayers' money. At least my family works. At least we build things. The room got louder. Some audience members clapped. Others gasped at the directness of the attack. The temperature on that stage was climbing fast. Obama didn't raise his voice. He waited until Trump finished, then spoke with that same steady tone, but this time The words hit harder. Loyalty to blood cannot override loyalty to the Constitution, Obama said clearly, letting each word land with full weight. When personal loyalty to family becomes more important than public duty, that's when leadership turns dangerous. You can love your family. You should. But when that love becomes a shield that blocks accountability, the American people lose. That's not strength. That's a weakness dressed up as loyalty. A low buzz spread through the audience immediately. People shifted in their seats, some nodding, others looking genuinely shocked at how direct things had gotten. Trump's hand came down hard on the arm of his chair. Not quite a full slam, but the first time he'd shown real, visible frustration through a physical gesture. His jaw was clenched tight, his eyes were narrowed, and Obama still wasn't finished. He leaned forward slightly, eyes locked on Trump, and dropped the next question like a bomb. "Donald, let me ask you something directly," Obama said. "What is the real name and role of the person you call Barron's protector in your inner circle? The one who has always been there, handling the sensitive matters? The one you've kept unusually close, even when serious questions were raised?" The words hit the room like a bucket of ice water. Trump froze. His usual quick comeback was nowhere in sight. His mouth opened slightly, but nothing came out right away. The audience went completely, totally silent. That deep, heavy kind of quiet where you could actually hear the studio lights humming overhead. Obama didn't wait for an answer. He reached under the table, pulled out a single sheet of paper, and placed it carefully on the small table between them. Printed on it were quotes, dates, and a clear timeline, Trump's own past statements and public comments about family protection and inner circle loyalty. "Here's the record," Obama said calmly, sliding the paper closer to Trump's side. "Your own words from 2018 and 2020, talking about keeping certain people very protected because they are, quote, family adjacent. The timeline doesn't lie." The silence stretched on. 10 full seconds, then 15. Nobody coughed, nobody shifted. The entire studio seemed to hold its breath like the world had paused. Then Trump erupted. He shoved his chair back and shot halfway up, pointing a thick finger straight at Obama, his voice booming with raw, unfiltered fury. "You have no right," he shouted. "You have no damn right to bring my family into this. This is low, even for you, Barack. Dragging my son's name, my circle, my private life onto this stage in front of everybody. You're desperate. You're attacking my family because you can't attack my record." His face was flushed deep red. His chest was heaving. The audience gasped loudly. A few people in the back actually stood up instinctively. The moderator looked completely stunned, unsure whether to step in or just let it play out. Obama stayed seated, completely still. His expression didn't change by even a fraction. He let Trump finish yelling, then spoke in that same quiet, steady voice that somehow filled the entire studio with chilling clarity. "When family becomes a shield against public accountability," Obama said slowly, "it stops being private. It becomes a problem for the country." He paused, then picked up the paper again and read directly from one section, his voice clear and loud enough for every microphone in the building to catch every single syllable. "These are your daughter Ivanka's own words from a 2017 interview," Obama continued. "The name carries weight, but it also carries expectations that can cloud judgment. Sometimes you have to step back and ask, what's right for everyone, not just the family." She said that herself. So when loyalty to blood means protecting people who should be held to the same rules as everyone else, that's not strength. That's dangerous for a leader. The audience erupted in waves of murmurs and shocked whispers. Some people clapped. Others shook their heads in disbelief. The energy in that room was absolutely electric. Trump slammed his hand down on the table, hard enough that the sound echoed across the entire studio. "You're twisting everything," Trump yelled back, still half standing, his voice cracking with anger. "My family works harder than anyone. We built an empire. You're just jealous. You couldn't do the same." Then he completely lost it, shooting up from his chair, his both hands slamming the table so hard the microphone shook. "You're destroying the office," he roared, voice cracking with fury. "You're tearing down everything this country stands for with these cheap shots and lies. This is disgraceful." Obama stayed seated, posture straight, voice low but razor sharp, cutting through Trump's rage like a blade through butter. "No, Mr. President," Obama said calmly. "You already did that when loyalty replaced truth." The words landed like a slap across the face. The audience gasped. Trump's mouth opened. But before he could fire back, Obama kept going, picking up yet another sheet from the table. "Let me read something you said yourself," Obama continued, his tone steady as stone as he held up the paper. This is from a private conversation recorded in 2019, later made public. You told your inner circle, family protection comes first. At all costs, we take care of our own no matter what. The rules are different for us. Those are your exact words. He paused, then pointed to the timeline printed beside the quote. And here's what followed. Appointments, pardons, protections given directly to people tied to your family, even when serious questions about conflicts of interest were raised. This isn't speculation. This is your own voice and your own actions. The audience erupted. People actually shouted out loud. Some stood up. The studio filled with a wave of noise, shock, disbelief, raw disbelief. Phones that had been quietly put away came right back out. Everyone was leaning forward, hearts pounding, not wanting to miss a single second. Trump tried to cut him off, lunging forward and yelling, "That's fake! You're making this up!" Obama stopped speaking for just a split second, letting the interruption hang in the air. Then he continued, his voice dropping even lower, but somehow filling the entire studio with ice-cold clarity. "If a leader places his family above the law," Obama said slowly, each word deliberate and precise, "then the only honest next step is this. Arrest this man for placing personal blood above the nation's trust." The stage seemed to freeze. A collective gasp swept through the audience, louder than anything before it. Several people covered their mouths. The moderator's eyes went wide. Trump stood there completely stunned, his face turning deep red, veins bulging on his forehead. For the first time all night, he looked genuinely, truly shaken. Trump recovered just enough to fire back, but his voice was desperate now, unraveling at the edges. "You want to talk family secrets? Fine. Let's talk about yours, Barack." Trump pointed aggressively, trying to claw back control. "All those closed-door family decisions during your presidency, the ones you kept hidden from the public while preaching transparency. You think you're so clean? You moved your own family into positions of influence and protected them just like anybody else. Don't act like you're above it all." Obama didn't hesitate for even 1 second. He leaned forward, eyes locked, and hit back with cold, precise force. "Actually, Donald, the difference is clear," Obama said. "When questions were raised about my family, and that we faced them openly. We didn't use the power of the office to shield anyone from accountability. Here's the record, public reports, congressional testimony, and my own statements at the time, all of it available for anyone to see." He tapped the table firmly, making sure every word was felt. "You can try to drag me down, but facts don't lie. The American people can judge for themselves who treated the office as a family business and who treated it as a public trust." The two men stared each other down, breathing hard. Trump's hands were shaking with anger. Obama sat perfectly still, but his eyes burned with an intensity that filled the whole room. Trump couldn't take it anymore. He shoved his chair back so hard it nearly toppled over. Jumping to his feet, face bright red, fists clenched tight at his sides. I will not sit here and be slandered," he shouted, voice raw and shaking. "This is a disgrace. I'm done with these lies." He turned toward the moderator, Telstein, then swung back to Obama, pointing with a trembling finger. "I have better things to do than sit here and listen to this nonsense." Obama didn't stand up. He didn't try to stop him. He simply looked up at Trump with that same calm, steady gaze, and spoke in a quiet but firm voice that carried across every corner of that studio. "Running away," Obama said, "is the ultimate proof that power without truth collapses." The words hit like a final punch. Trump paused for half a second, glaring at Obama with everything he had. Then he spun around and stormed off the stage. His footsteps echoed loudly as he disappeared behind the curtains, still muttering under his breath. So the audience exploded. Some people booed and shouted, others clapped and cheered. The mix of noise and applause created a chaotic roar that shook the studio walls. Cameras chased Trump as he vanished behind the curtains, still muttering, still furious, gone. Obama stayed right where he was, seated calmly in his chair, completely alone on that stage now. He didn't smile. He didn't look triumphant. He just waited for the noise to settle. Then he continued speaking as if nothing had changed. The studio slowly quieted down, all eyes now fixed entirely on the one man still sitting there. Obama leaned forward slightly, voice strong and clear, filling every inch of that silent studio. "Leadership isn't about who shouts the loudest," he said, "or who builds the biggest towers. Real leadership is the courage to question even those you love most. It's the willingness to put truth and duty above personal loyalty, above family shields, above anything that stands in the way of doing what's right for the country." He paused, letting those words sink deep into every person in that room. When power goes unchecked, when loyalty to blood replaces loyalty to the Constitution, that's when democracy gets tested. True strength doesn't hide behind excuses. It faces the hard questions head on, even when the answers hurt. The audience began to clap. At first it was scattered, a few hands here and there. Then it grew louder, then stronger. Soon people were on their feet, the applause building into a thunderous roar that rolled through the studio like a massive wave. Obama sat there, still composed, nodding slightly as the ovation washed over him. He waited until the noise dipped just enough for his final words to land clearly. Then he looked straight into the main camera, eyes steady, voice calm, but carrying the kind of weight that stays with you. "Real power doesn't need to scream," Obama said. "It only needs to speak the truth once." The screen slowly faded to black. The applause kept ringing out, long after the lights dimmed. That last line hung in the air like smoke, echoing in the minds of every single person who had watched. The arena had gone quiet, but the echo of that night refused to fade.